Call this meeting order. This is our work session for Monday, September the 9th at 3:34 p.m. I'm gonna do a roll call. Mr. Burse.
Present.
Mr. Pope.
Present.
Mr. Lucas.
Here.
Mr. Hendrick. Here. Mr. Chiz here. Okay. Before we start, I'm asking Mr. Burse if he would lead us in prayer. Y'all would be.
Our heads. Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you, oh God, for this opportunity to be able to deliberate the business of this county. Pray, God, you look upon the inhabitants of this city and this county. And Lord, we ask that you would continue to bless this great nation of ours. We ask, Lord, that you would continue to let us remind of the fact that Jesus Christ died for our sins. And Lord, we ask that you would just continue to bless each and every one here. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have a guest speaker. Go again, Brandon.
Mr. Brandon?
Yeah, please come up, would you please?
The reason that my husband and I are here today, we have a house that we cannot sell or live in because of the racetrack across the road. We live at 598 Meadowood Drive, and the house across the street is 1601 Meadowood Drive. We have a noise problem. Our neighbors across the street have two motocross bikes that they race around their house. And the noise is unbearable. We cannot sit in our living room, eat supper, or even out in our lanai on the back. The noise is unbearable. All this occurs late afternoon till dark. Weekends start sooner until dark. And they've also raced on Meadowood Drive. We have called the Sheriff's Department to patrol, and I've only seen one car. We have called the Sheriff's Department. They have sent down sheriffs, and they tell me there's nothing I can do. They can do whatever they want on their own property. And the whole reason that we're here is the noise. So, and we call them every time they start in. We have called the sheriff and they've come down. And that's the same thing is said to us. It's their own property. They can do whatever they want. And one of the deputies came down, and I said this morning, I went over and tried to talk to Nikki, and she would not come to the door. And when it started again, we called the Sheriff's Department. They sent down a deputy, and I told the deputy, I will talk to Nikki if she will talk to me. He went over, and Nikki and her friend said no. And the last deputy that came down, she told us it wasn't a crime. And all I am concerned about is the noise. Now, I've called code, whatever you call, to get noise, but all I was told from that department was they can do whatever they want on their own property. And I keep insisting the noise. I'm 90, he's 90, I'm 83. We bought that home, and it's been a wonderful neighborhood. And we're very happy here. But since this started, I don't know. At this time, we have decided maybe to go up north and rent for a while, and maybe this can be taken care of. And we'll come back and probably sell. And it's going to be sad that we can't live. The neighborhood is a lovely neighborhood. And I have a petition from the people right around that get that noise like I do. And that's really all I have to say. And I hope that you will take care of this noise problem. Because I haven't been told, I don't even know if you have a noise ordinance. If you do, it's not being enforced. And this isn't loud music or anything. This is 2 motocross bikes. And they have a little racetrack right around their house. And this is really it's been a very, very stressful time for us. And I hope you will listen and find out what's going on. Do you have a noise ordinance?
Yes, we do.
We do.
We have one, and the state also has one.
But do you have, is it for loud music or is it for something like this? This is very important.
It's not generalized to one thing. It's just a noise ordinance in general.
Well, I hope you look into it and talk with the sheriff's department, and maybe we can get it solved. But it's not been a very nice last month.
What you say the name of the road is?
Meadowwood Drive,
Middlewood?
yes.
Is that off of Cumberland?
It's off Meadowwood Lane and off Blaylock. You would turn on Blaylock. And I have a petition here to stop the noise from the people that I spoke to.
Okay.
So do I leave this here, or do you take my petition?
You can, is that all right? Let me give it to Scott.
Yeah, I'll take it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
He could just run some copies of it.
Pardon?
He could probably just run some copies of it, right, Scott?
Yeah. Yeah.
Chief, can you come up here a minute?
We don't have an ordinance
This is the
against
people
that.
of the people.
I believe we do.
We need to.
Well, it's actually,
We got a state law.
David don't have nothing against that. Do we have is there an
Yeah,
ordinance?
there's a noise ordinance. Generally speaking, I don't read it much because it's enforced by the sheriff's office. But it says that a deputy has to go out and give a warning, I believe, first, and then after that, it can be tickets to be written. But it says, offensive, obtrusive noise within 1,000 feet of a residence or something like that. Or it goes on to say, I think if you leave a vehicle running for more than 15 minutes, it can be considered noise ordinance. I'll look into it, we'll find out.
Okay.
What was that physical address again?
For me or for the across the street?
Your house?
1598 Meadowwood Drive.
And the house is right across the street from you.
Yes, 1601.
Is there anything you can do with that,
Chief
Chief?
Denise called me last week, we phone tagged the whole time, so.
Okay.
But we'll get it situated.
All right.
You gonna look into it?
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Okay. There's no more speakers today. We're gonna go into the agenda item.
Tax Commissioner has his hand up.
You got,
Yeah, Scott was supposed to put me on the agenda, and he forgot. I need to let you guys know, what's gonna be going on this year on the election, the November ballot. We got HB 808, and that is, the increase in exemption for personal property. Right now, if you have personal property, it's $7,500 or less, you don't get taxed. And this House bill is going to raise that to $20,000, but it's got to pass on a November ballot. It's a constitutional amendment. So that's one thing that's going to be on there. for the people need to know, and you guys need to know. The second thing is HB 581, and that's a little more involved. The ACCG is having a training October 1st, the 2nd, 3rd, in various places. October 1st is in Tifton for you guys. It is a 3% cap on the amount that a house can go up that's homestead. And let me read the actual, what's going to say on the ballot. It's going to say, shall the Constitution of Georgia be amended so as to authorize a General Assembly to provide by general law for a statewide homestead exemption that serves to limit increases in the assessed values of homesteads, but which in any county, consolidated government, municipality, or local school system may opt out upon completion of certain procedures. So that's another amendment and it's got to pass for the HB 581 to go into effect. Let me tell you everything about 581 and then how that affects Ware County. 581 is right now it's considered a 3% cap on the homestead values going up. That can be taxed on. The county commission, the school board, and the city, you can opt out by March 1st. That's going to be in November. The opt-out is March 1st. Anything later than that, you can't do. Now, personally, the Ware County homestead freezes is much better than the state freeze. What are they talking about? It's just a cap, how much it can go up. Where in Ware County, if you file homestead, you get the freezes, your value is stuck. You're stuck at that. It won't increase 3% a year. So I would professionally recommend that y'all consider opting out, because like I said, that's going to be, it's not going to help Ware County taxpayers, and it's not going to help Ware County Commission, and it's not going to help the Board of Assessors. That'll be a third value that the Board of Assessors have to keep track of for no reason. And also, if it passes, it can allow the county commission and the county and the city to agree to a sales tax. Like the lost, that is just strictly for property tax, rollback of property taxes. They will allow for another sales tax that you can do it a half a percent or 1%, half a penny or 1 penny, and what that will go strictly to rolling back the property taxes. Now, I had a meeting August 27th with Department of Revenue Commissioner and the whole staff and ACCG. Everybody was there, and we were all discussing how this is going to be implemented. And so let me go. If the city and the county agree that y'all want to do this, then y'all have to do a referendum, and the people's got to vote on it. That's the first thing. But the second thing is, and what will happen with the millage rate. And I'm going to go just by the prelim for this year, what we got, what I had when we had assessors go out. So the gross millage rate is 15.968. The rollback rate was 11.367. That was the prelim numbers. And that was with a sales tax rollback that was 4.3 something. So we take that and we subtract it from the rollback rate, and your millage rate would be 7.306. So that is basically $1, the same amount of dollars that you get for lost, you would get for this other if they pass it, and that would come off directly off the rollback rate. So you guys need to know that what you're facing is gonna coming up, and it's coming up quick. Now, I think, I'm pretty sure that both of them gonna pass. But if the one for 581 doesn't pass, then nothing goes into effect. It's all or nothing. There's no state homestead cap, there's no sales tax gonna be done. And there's no opting out, whatever. So just to give y'all a heads up, that y'all need to be thinking about if y'all wanna opt out, which I totally, if Billy was here, I was talking with Billy, and I said, ours is better. Department of Revenue, they straight up, we was meeting, and I said, well, with this, if we opt out, can we do the sales tax? Because if a government's opt out, and you don't have a freeze, you don't have a floating homestead, you cannot put in the sales tax. So I said, that's defeating the purpose. And they said, well, yours is better than ours. I said, well, I know that, but how does that affect if we opt out? Because it doesn't say that. And they said, no, Ware County would be fine. All counties that have freezes will be fine if they wanted to get the sales tax, if the people want that. And that will roll back the homestead, roll back everybody's property taxes. And then the last thing is the appeal period ended Friday. We are over the 8% of the disputed value. We're not over 8% of appeals. They've, I was talking with Billy, they've already done, they completed over 600 appeals already, and they still have about 1,500 left to do. So, but that's, the appeals, that's fine. The appeals meet the criteria on that. The disputed value doesn't. Because currently, the value that I was given last week, it was 9% of the values of the prelim numbers. So with them already correcting 800 or 600 something, those values drop. Well, that disputed value is still high. So when he gets that down within 8%, then they will give me the digest, and I will give each commission the rollback rates and what you have ahead of you about the doing taxes. So anybody got any questions?
Did I hear you right when you said that the millage rate would drop from 11 to 7?
Yeah, if that sales tax was put in for this year.
Okay.
And granted, if it passes in November, and y'all work with the city, and y'all decide y'all want to do it, and y'all put it up for the vote, I guess the earliest that y'all can get on the ballot will be March or November. It'd be March or November. So it wouldn't go into, if it's November, it wouldn't go into effect until
26.
Right, 26. And then, and with that being said, it won't count, it will not go into effect as rolling back on the bottom of it until 27. Because I have to use the amount of money on sales tax that's collected the year prior to.
Yep. Roger, I appreciate you trying to explain, the best you can, I guess, to us in layman's term. And I've been kind of tracking this and kind of following this about this tax and this House Bill 581, and I was a little confused. But after hearing you, I'm thoroughly confused now. And I know
What you confused about?
All the minutia that goes in this stuff about, and it's not on you. I'm just saying about the whole thing,
Well, it's designed for, really, it's designed for the counties who do not have homestead freezes. They just file homestead, they get the state's $2,000 or $4,000, depending on the age and all, on the homesteads. And their values, when they increase, they still get that $2,000. We went through a complete revow.
Right.
So everybody whose values, whose homestead, whose values went up, say $100,000, they still get, if they lived in the county that had to freeze, they would still just get the $2,000 off. Well, where we're at the freezes, they're still paying taxes on the value that of the homestead. And on top of that, they're gonna pay a lower millage rate too. So their taxes will go down. I'll tell you that, people in Ware County, the homesteaded or freezes, their taxes will go down.
Well, like I said, and I appreciate, I mean, it's nothing about you, I'm just saying, I'm trying to wrap all this stuff around my head, and I've already signed up for that class in
Yeah.
October the 1st in Tifton,
Yeah.
because I want to try to find out as much as I can, so that whenever I have to make a decision or make a vote, I want to make
Yeah.
a,
Well,
vote
I
based on the
understand,
knowledge.
and that's the reason why I'm telling you guys, because early voting starts next month,
right,
and it's gonna be on this ballot. And you guys need to know, the people need to know
right.
what they're gonna see.
Okay. One other thing, right, so the 808 and the 581, which is two different things, but they're kind of,
They're not connected.
they're not connected at all?
They're not connected at all. No.
Okay.
Nope. No, 808 stands on its own,
Okay,
and 581 stands on its own.
okay.
If 808 passes and 581 doesn't, you're gonna get an increase in the personal property exemption.
Okay, well, I got your number, and I still calling you, get you to kind of explain just a little bit more about it, but I plan on attending the class, I'm already
Yeah.
registered for it, so.
Yeah, but, I fully recommend to opt out of this freeze, because that's just gonna cause our assessors that much more work, which is gonna be, it's gonna have a negative impact. It's gonna take up their time when they don't need to, because our homestead, Ware County, these people who's homesteaded, it's gonna be, they're better off than with this homestead with the state.
That's, I mean, I can understand what you're saying about the assessors and them being, in your day with a little more work, but my bottom line is what is gonna be best for the citizens.
Like I said, Commissioner Burris, it is the best. Our freezes, Ware County's freezes, is better for the citizens of Ware County than the state is going, because that is just doing a cap on the value that's not capping the value that they get taxed on. And they just want to get the $2,000 off. If somebody is frozen, their house went up $100,000, they got exemption for $100,000 in Ware County.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Tax Commissioner.
Do you have any other questions?
Well, yes, but not right now.
Yeah, it's 581 is there's a lot to it, but it's an all or nothing thing. So if it don't pass, none of the House bill goes away. It was an all or nothing, the way they wrote it up. And like I said, I just need y'all to get an understanding of what y'all gonna be facing.
And you say you met with these people, right?
Yeah, I'm on the Department of Revenue Commissioners Advisory Committee.
Okay.
And so I go up once every 3 months, and we have meetings, and it's it's not a property tax and tax commission. These are tax commissioners, Department of Revenue, everybody, ACCG, GMA, everybody. And we all sit around and we talk about everything that we got going on. That the Department of Revenue, what's going on, the different laws, everything. So I'm on that committee, and this was a big topic back in August.
Okay, so you're on the committee. So what brought this about?
But
I mean, somebody had to come up with something.
581?
581 and.
Well, we had a complete revamp, right?
Right,
We're not the only county.
okay.
There was 24 of them had complete reval this year. There was, I think, 12 last year, and there's gonna be like 16 next year. And the values, the real estate market values increase so much. And everybody's feeling that, you know, the real estate market has increased. And people who live in their houses and they went to their legislators and complained. They said, look, there's no way that we can keep affording to pay all this stuff if their house went up $100,000, $200,000. And they only getting that little free, they only getting the $2,000 exemption. They're going to pay more taxes eventually. But initially, let me say this, the reval, the money that was found, that was raised during the reval is a direct cause for the millage rate to drop. So initially, there was $299 million increase in the reassessed value, and there was a $91 million exemptions that was included in the reassessed values in his reval. That causes the millage rate to drop. It's designed to get the county, the school, and the cities the amount of taxes they received the year before. It's not designed to raise everybody's taxes and the county gets a windfall and the city gets a windfall and all that stuff.
Right.
And that's not the way it is. So that millage rate dropped to get y'all the amount of taxes that y'all had last year.
I think we're very fortunate to have a person of your caliber on that committee, so you're getting it firsthand, you know, and I think that's good. So that's what we're gonna be relying heavily on you and I guess other people, you know, in the know about this, because the bottom line is we want what's best for the citizen.
Yeah, and that, honestly, I'm telling you, it's best to opt out. It's best to have both of these pass. Yes, it's best for citizens to pass both of them. Any other questions?
Are we gonna have our taxes ready for our rollback in October for our budget?
Oh,
When is, you think it's gonna
we
be?
gotta get the assessors have to get the undisputed value down to 8% or below 8%. So I believe he's already got 7 hearing dates for the DOE already set up with the clerk of court. And then that's with the BOE. And he should get, and they are constantly working on the bills. So I'm hoping I get it this month, so I can figure out everything and get it to each government body.
Okay,
And I would prefer to get it out because everybody uses their property taxes to write off on the income tax,
right.
correct? If it's waited till next year they're not gonna have it for this year, for the income tax. So that's gonna be another complaint, and then next year they'll have double on property taxes. But I would prefer to go ahead and get it done as soon as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, if we don't get it, we're gonna have to borrow money.
Yep. You gonna have to borrow, you
We
gonna
don't
have
get
to
the
do
bills
tens.
sent out. We can't, we ain't got to do it yet.
Not yet, no, sir.
As soon as we get okay.
All right,
Okay,
Appreciate
anybody
everything you're
else?
doing, Roger.
Roger? Appreciate it.
yep, you're welcome.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you, Roger.
That's all. Anybody else? Okay, let's go to agenda item. Okay, presentation on the Ware County Comprehensive Transportation Plan. And Mr. Chris Kingsbury, will you come up?
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thanks for putting up with me. I thought transportation stuff was tough, but following the tax commission, I don't know, and I do live in one of those counties where, everybody's prices were going up, and that's all your neighbors talk about, so it's a touchy subject. So real briefly, just for a few minutes, y'all were gracious enough to trust us to update really create your first comprehensive transportation plan in several decades. So this little cover sheet, we're gonna put this on your website. I was talking to Mr. Moy, I think we're gonna try to have the first public hearing, if you go to the next slide. We've come up with a schedule this spring, and we're a little bit behind. We thought we'd have a public hearing in August, and on our stakeholder meeting, and then with the weather and other things that have happened, what we're gonna shoot for is this combination stakeholders meeting in the morning or lunch, and our first public information meeting, after your second meeting, your second Monday in October, your regular October meeting. So we'll combine the stakeholder meetings and the public meeting on the same date, and that should get us back on track to finish this project up in the spring. We've been busy collecting a lot of data. I won't go into all the details, but one of the things that the glue that holds these plans together is pretty simple. In 2021, y'all did a comprehensive county plan, which has a little transportation element. This is a much deeper look, but it builds on all that planning data, if you will, population, real estate values we just talked about, income, education, housing stock, commercial, institutional, industrial land uses. And if you go to the third slide, there's a sort of a list of questions and issues everybody around the country deals with. Are your roads safe? Where's your congestion points? Where do you feel the pain? You have portions of the counties and cities that people rely on bicycles and transportation for day-to-day, or they do it for recreation, traffic signal timing. Everybody says, I waited at that light for 3 minutes. And all those things, speeding is an issue. You all have the big one here, railroads, crossings, freight mobility. We call the annual budget things, which people sometimes overlook, signing and striping and lighting the right-of-way. Those things we can find money from the state and the feds to build new roads, but once they get built, you all gotta maintain it. Yeah. Then, I put this in there, where in the world? So the next slide, y'all have a really unique place. We've worked on and off in the coastal counties for my whole career, going off the Valley, now Atlas, so it's 40 some odd years now. And y'all have this unique place where your key logistics through point in the southeast region. So not only do y'all see the truck and train traffic right here in Waycross and Ware County in general, but you're seeing things that are traveling from one parts of the country to the other through the ports of Mobile and Savannah and Brunswick. So there's a lot going on here, and that makes the stakeholders that participated in the former regional plan and the old transportation plan super critical. So one of the things we'll be doing when we meet with the stakeholders locally, which includes the railroads and GDOT and educational folks and city and county officials, of course you all are invited, is what are the things that are local, what are the things that are regional, how can we work together. And one of our last tasks on this overall study is the bypass component. So once we know all the issues that are local and affect your transportation plan, what's the best way forward to get the through traffic that doesn't need to come to Waycross, around Waycross, and get the folks that need to come to Waycross, want to come to Waycross for school or healthcare or government business, restaurant, shopping, in and out of town. So when we had that first public meeting, we can go to the next slides, there's a series of questions we asked. We have lots of maps on the wall at a much granular scale. People can find the street addresses. And we ask you to put little dots on the map, fill out some surveys. If you come in person, we'll have this information on the website. What are the issues that you would rank as the most important to you? Is it congestion? Is it safety? Is it traffic signals? Is it getting stopped at railroad tracks and things like that? And then we'll also touch on the next two slides are the projects that were discussed as potentially important and needed short, medium, and long term when y'all did the comprehensive plan, which was 2021. Generally, you're asked to update those every 5 years by the Department of Community Affairs. So this is this is a good time to have the transportation component underway, updated next spring. So in 2 years, you have to update your comp plan, the two will be in sync. And that's really important when you go up to the next to last slide. You go up to GDOT, both regionally and at the capital, and say, this is who we are, and this is what we need, and this is why we need it, and how you get those state and federal dollars programmed back into the local plan. So the goals are common to all of the plans statewide. This is what GDOT's looking at to sort of score you. Is it fiscally attainable? Are we asking for things that there's no way you locally can help make the match or the state can help pay for? Are we really doing something that's going to improve connectivity between urban and rural areas, which is a big deal in an area like yours? Safety is always paramount. The good news, over the decades, road accidents are going down. The bad news is, during the pandemic, speeds went way up. So we're having fewer crashes, but they're more severe. And you see the state addressing that in different parts of the counties, statewide, and all the states. Y'all don't have too many roundabouts in this area, but I can tell you they're coming. Because GDOT and the federal highway folks love roundabouts. They're confusing, but the severity of the accidents goes down drastically, because almost every accident is slow speed side swipe. You don't get T-bone accidents, people ran the stop sign or the red light. So for congested intersections, one of the things these plans will evaluate is the feasibility and practicality of roundabouts. And that's a key safety thing. And then, of course, the freight issues here are huge. I was telling the chairman before the meeting started, a lot of money has been programmed by Congress for states to deal with the railroads on congestion and train lengths and where they stop and how long they stop. And then, of course, finally, we don't want to do anything that hurts the local environment. Y'all are unique. Got the Okefenokee down the road. So Ware County has not only a regional and national importance in the transportation network, you're a national resource, a worldwide resource because of the Okefenokee. So just sort of, it sums up, when we have the meetings, we're going to ask people to confirm that the goals, we're doing things that are resilient, climate change, you all had the hurricanes, roads flood more often, so the transportation plan looks at what can we do to address that long term. Safety is obviously a priority. Connectivity, can you get to where you need to go? Is it fiscally attainable? Is it going to preserve the environment? And a couple of things I want to leave you with real quickly, and I'll take questions. It's kind of interesting. Every community is different, but every community is the same in some ways. Y'all have a little different skew on your employment data, which I thought was interesting. Let me do my little cheat sheet here. Here it is, next page. 50% of your residents work in 4 to 5 employment sectors. The top one is healthcare at 15%, and then 14% manufacturing. So in round numbers, 30% of the folks that live in Ware County are probably working in Ware County. And then the other two that are almost as big are, I'm sorry, it's manufacturing, healthcare, the top two. They're almost 30%. And then the next two highest are retail and education, almost the same, about 10%. So that tells us why this bypass is so important. You've got a lot of folks that are working in the central part of the county, because that's where these businesses and institutions are located. And then you've got everybody else involved in something that's generating truck traffic coming to or from or simply passing through. So it's a little different demographic than we might find, say, in Valdosta or Macon or some of the larger exurban areas around Atlanta, the Snellvilles, the Woodstocks, the Bearsvilles. But I do think, and you'll have some big factories coming online or being talked about, Georgia's becoming an international manufacturing hub. From Calhoun and Dalton, we always have the carpet industry. Now we'll have in northwest Georgia one of the largest solar cell manufacturers in the world. A second battery plant planned to be as a component, a companion plant, if you will, the one built in Jackson County, northeast Georgia. The Hyundai plant's a car and battery plant. So by some estimates, in 2 years, Georgia will have 15 or 20% of the worldwide capacity to manufacture batteries for cars and trucks. So that tells you what's moving around the state. And of course, car manufacturers, I think, are going to increase too. So there's a lot going on that affects y'all that's not in your backyard, so to speak, but y'all have to deal with the consequences. So it's kind of interesting. So that's a snapshot of sort of the things we're doing all summer. We're collecting the data. We've had some people in the field. We work with GR on traffic counts. So when we come back in the spring, I mean, in that first week in October, first meeting in October, we'll have some summary snapshots of this hard data. We'll be asking these questions. We'll get the feedback from the public, and then we'll go off and work on recommendations. And those last stages, hey, what's this all going to cost? So in 5 minutes or less, I'm giving you an update.
Okay.
And I'm here all afternoon. I'm going to Hinesville tomorrow to work on other plans. And, if you think of something really big, Scott's got my phone number. But I'm going to stick around during the meeting and be available afterwards if you have any questions.
Okay. Y'all got any questions?
I just like to appreciate the work you've done thus far. The main thing when reading through all this is the emphasis on having public input. I think that's very crucial, you know, because for a lot of times governments come up with these different plans and have a few people, but you need to get something from the people that's gonna be impacted by it the most.
Well, I won't say how old I am, and I won't hazard a guess how old you are, but I think we've all been around this a while. It's interesting. I used to work for Tom Moreland, of course, he's passed away, and one of our big clients now is Michael Thurman at DeKalb County. And both of them were very clear in their decades of experience. I think y'all probably know this. 10% of the population will always tell you you're doing something right or wrong. The other 90% kind of go with the flow. And that 10% is who comes to the meetings, but you're so right, we have to offer the opportunity. And with the internet now, all this stuff it's a whole lot easier to get out and get feedback. So over the last few years with the pandemic, I was talking to the chairman before, we're all more familiar with Zoom calls and sharing data on websites. So our participation rate's actually going up when we have public development meetings around the state and the region. So it's a good trend. And the economy's going up. It's a double-edged sword. Y'all watch your sales tax collections. Sales tax revenues in the last couple of years have been way off our projections. But what's the other side of the coin? Everything we're buying is costing more. So the good news is it's keeping up. So.
And you mentioned about the battery plants, how Georgia's gonna seem like a hub for these lithium battery plants, I guess.
Yes.
But they also run into some strong opposition also about the water that's being required.
Yeah, water rights are, I remember when the Gilman Paper Company shut down and went to Mexico, one of the biggest battles we had, and we represented Glenn County, was the paper company owned the rights to the Deepwater well, which was worth more than the plant was. But finally the county and some local developers won out. Of course, Kings Bay had a little bit of influence. The Navy needed the housing stock on the mainland, as they said. So there's a lot of development now happening in the St. Mary's area because the county was able to get the rights, the city and county were able to get the rights to that Deepwater well. Now, water's critical.
Yes.
Well, I will say, now that we're not just Moreland, Altabelli, and Tom Moreland in Georgia, with this new firm Atlas, we do a lot of work around the country, and there's a side of us that deals with manufacturing. So while they're pulling more water out of the ground for lots of these processes, they're also getting a lot smarter on how they can capture it and reuse it.
All right.
So, yeah, somewhere I'll watch closely. It's probably in some ways maybe more important than transportation.
Yes.
So I'll be here all afternoon, and if you have any questions, let me know after the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chris. Okay, let's go on to the Ware County Government Telephone System Upgrade. What that's about.
Good afternoon.
Carla?
How y'all doing?
Yeah, come on up.
All right. So we've been looking at this phone system for the last year, of trying to figure out how to upgrade and make changes to our existing phone system. system in a way that instead of the current phone systems that we have in place, to use a hosted-based phone system and then move over to that solution and get away from the high cost of AT&T and the MyTel bill, or the Nextel bill that we pay for our current phone system. So we have kind of some charges that are being charged out there that are in kind of being double charged. And so to be able to get rid of all of that, we need to move to some other type of solution to get out of that double charge type of setup that's being done right now. And so what we got a proposal together is to let Access APC come in and then do a solution that is a hosted-based system, and they'll be charging us about an upfront cost of around $25,000, and then a monthly reoccurring cost of about $6,000 going forward after that. And this is to upgrade the whole countywide. And also what it does is it consolidates our bill from having all these multiple bills that we currently have providers under and trying to figure that out of who to charge the cost to one sole bill that we'll get in from one provider, and then we can disperse it out to the multiple facilities that are under the county.
Carlos, this is for the administration building here,
And every other courthouse.
every county building?
Every county building.
Okay, that's not what it says here, I'm just checking. Another question, 911 center runs on AT&T equipment.
So we've had.
This has,
Yeah,
would that be eliminated? You gotta start all over out there or what?
We'd have to leave that on the CAD system because AT&T does manage the CAD setup.
I understand they do a good job
Yeah.
out there.
That's the only proprietary system that is provided by AT&T to provide that type of service.
So they would stay there.
Right,
Everything else would be changed in all the county buildings?
correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
And also, first of all, I want to thank Carlos and his team, I would say, for, taking the lead on this and trying to find out, because I guess it's something they really didn't have to do. They could have just went along and kept doing computer and all this stuff. But this, and the bottom line is they're going to save the county a lot of money.
Right.
Because what we're paying, just the administration bill, is probably 50% less than what we'll be paying for the monthly fee on the ATC system.
Right.
As far as the monthly, once we get the upfront cost. And also, can you elaborate a little bit more on the phones, about it's going to replace every phone, and some phones will have different, I guess, options on it?
So the phone, what was in the proposal, as you see, there's 3 different phones. There's one that's an executive phone, so it has more features and options that give the end user more flexibility of using it. And then we have a secondary phone, and I can kind of get Nathan to speak more on the phones, because that's that part of it. Then there's one that has less options, and then there's a third one that gives them Bluetooth type capability. Is there anything else you'd like to add on to that?
Yeah, the Bluetooth is that's
Yeah, come up, Mr. Chairman.
Come up here.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Nathan Lingenfelter with ATC. I'm on telephone.
Hey,
The Bluetooth capability that he's talking about is in the executive type phone. It's a touch screen phone, just a bigger type phone set, and it has a Bluetooth handset, the little cradle, that goes in the cradle. That's a wireless, a cordless option for that. And then most of the other phones would be the more basic phone, that has the buttons on either side of it in your packet there. But this is really, countywide, to take everybody to the same system, everybody to the same phone bill, and it's also includes all the maintenance, management of the phone system, everything, all in one package.
So if a phone goes bad, we just let them know, and they replace the phone at no additional cost to us.
There is some capability on the user level you know, and then Carlos's team will have an admin level that they can do changes and things like that. But we'll do all the heavy lifting on the phone system management and all of that.
Okay.
And software upgrades, all of that'll be done on a regular basis.
And so one beneficial of doing this through a hosted system versus what we have right now in most of the facilities is we have these old analog-based systems. So if one of those goes bad, then they cost at least $18,000 to $20,000 to replace the unit. And then the phones, then you have to replace each one of those at another additional cost. So as these legacy phone systems that we have in place now are around 15 to 20 years old, and at some point, we're about to replace them anyway. And that's like the courthouse, magistrate, your DA's office, the sheriff's office, some of the facilities out there at the EOC Center, even though that the CAD system runs on the AT&T, they got other phone systems in there that run the rest of the building that's over there.
And this is a 3-year contract, I believe?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and roughly how many phones we talking about replacing, just ballpark?
There's roughly 200. 200 sets, that's kind of what we're planning on.
And then integrating with some of these other sets too, like the conference phone would be integrated into the system. All the conference features that we have will stay the same. Some of the system that's over there that's set up in the courthouse where they have these push buttons to be able to notify that there's somebody there at the courthouse, all that will be integrated into their system as well. So all of that will stay, the equipment that's there, but we'll integrate it in with their hosted system.
And the upfront money is just for wiring, basically for wiring some of the areas, not this building, it's all new, but courthouse, all these other exterior type buildings, they'll need to have at least Cat 5 wiring to each of these phone sets, so that's what that money is for.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, for me.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to speak on what Mr. Burst, Commissioner Burst just spoke of, the 36-month contract. At the end of this 36 months, are we going to have to pay that upfront fee again?
No, sir, no.
We
The
just,
upfront fee is just for the wiring, so that'll
Okay.
be in the walls, that's what you pay for the wiring. So that would, you could move on to something else at that point. And then the wiring would be there, you would benefit from that.
if we opted to stay with you after 3 years, you would just upgrade what's there?
Whatever you needed at that point, if you wanted to go into a new deal, you could upgrade
Or just keep flowing?
or just keep flowing.
Okay.
And I understand too, well, Mr. Chairman, that in Carlos, I guess when they're doing all this checking, there are a lot of lines that's antiquated, that's not even being used, but we're still paying for.
Correct. So we had them do a cost study as well. So they spent about a year doing a cost study before we even went to make a proposal together to put this phone system. And through the cost study, they found a lot of inadequate lines that were just active, but no utilization to it.
And
So
we
there's
still,
going to be a cost savings there too, and there's probably still more stuff out there.
Yeah, the biggest part is the duplication of some of the lines that
Right.
you got. That's what you hate to see. Why are we paying twice?
exactly.
Okay. You got anything?
Not for Mr. Lingenfelder, I don't, but for Mr. Carlos, I do.
Yes.
So we're going on 4 years that they can't give us an answer of why we're paying double.
So since we've been in this building, from my understanding, we've been over here for 6 years. They've had another company try to work on resolving the phone issue within this building, but from my understanding, just either the company that they've had working on it just doesn't have the resources to be able to get with AT&T and resolve the multiple charges, or we're not sure what the issue is with that, but for some reason, it's just fell through the cracks. So since they've been in this building, just this building alone has been increasing in cost, and it was brought up to me to figure out why are we still increasing. So then we started looking through these alternative routes to figure out why is the phone service still, incrementing in cost every single year?
Yeah. So who's the provider we have now?
Well, the provider we have now is multiple providers. We have AT&T and Nextiva. So those are the two providers that we have now. And then the Nextiva is up under Cox Telephone. But we pay Nextiva directly. So Cox is just kind of a service provider that just says these are the services that you have, but we're actually paying the service through Nextiva and AT&T.
Why do we have to have two different
We shouldn't
providers?
have that. They should have been all ported over at the time that they moved into this building, but that's the thing.
It wasn't.
At some point in time, somebody just didn't complete the process, and then since I've even been here, we've been trying to work on it. They said that it didn't get ported and that the porting process didn't get processed through AT&T. For what reason, I don't know.
And it's not, I reckon it's not as simple as getting on the phone with AT&T and say, hey, look, terminate your services.
Well, I can let him speak to that. Because they're going to be having to do all of this, so.
Yes, with Nextiva, but the problem is between Cox and Nextiva, they don't own the service, Cox doesn't, so they're relying on Nextiva. Nextiva is the customer with AT&T, not really you, so there's just too many involved in it.
Yeah.
And where we control from the public switch network all the way to the desktop.
Okay.
So we control that whole process.
So, let me ask something that might sound kind of crazy, but these lines that we've been paying on, that's been dead, I guess. And then some of these AT&T lines that, there, but we're not using them. Is there any chance of going back and doing an audit to find out, hey, we've been paying this, but we haven't really been getting any service?
Well, for every line that's sitting out there that's dead now, he's got a chart that he's put together. I don't know if that chart is in anyone else's book or not, but there is a chart of all the lines, and there's something, he'd have to explain it to you, probably sit down with you, explain it to you, to really understand all the stuff that's been discovered in there. But if we've been paying on it from 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, it's still been paid for. I mean, we're not gonna be able to dispute anything because all they're gonna do is just provide you service to that line. If you have anything on it, or if you don't have anything on it, they still gave you the service for it.
Yeah, who was the contractor that did the service work in this building when it was built? It should have been some kind of contract.
Yeah, I want to say it was Cox, maybe. Do you remember, Spencer? I think it was Cox. It ran the lines, yeah, if I'm not mistaken. I know the phone system's been an issue since I've been here. And there for a while, I was just remembering a few years ago, we were trying to trace lines that we think weren't being used and getting charged for them, and that was a project within itself. I mean, you could spend 8 hours a day for months just trying to chase those lines down to figure out where they were. And I know that we just cut some of them off, because once we started checking into it, we found out that evidently this is not a good phone, it's not a good line, it's not being used. And so it's been that way for years. And now it's, I think, with Nathan's help, got their arms around this whole issue to resolve it once and for all. But it's something we inherited that was here for years.
Is it possible then that some of the buildings that we have took down and stuff like that is probably still serving?
Yep. Some of those lines could have been where the old central services, the white building,
Yeah.
the ones over there.
Some of these buildings,
and no
right.
one ever knew what was there, what lines went in there. It was, and you have to keep in mind, we've got
We probably still
26,
charge.
28 buildings. And when phones be disconnected or taken out or moved, no one would trace that back down to find out which lines were needing to stay and which ones could be terminated.
Carlos, that sounds like a good job for you. May have to give you a raise. You need to cut all that off.
That's what we've been working on So what brought all this about too was that the phone bill from last year, and Spencer can speak a little bit more on this, the phone bill every single year has increased. And so the different departments have started complaining and said, well, why is our bill continuing to increase when we moved into this new building? It should have decreased, because that's what they were promised, that the phone bill would go down. But now it's starting to just thousands of dollars every year is increasing.
Yeah.
And that's just this main admin building, no other facility.
And if okay, say for 4 years, that's 48 months. And I know this $6,000 is for the whole county.
Right.
But if you just take, if this is say this building's $2,000, okay? And if we're doubling that 48 months, that's a pile of money.
Yeah.
That's getting thrown out the window without somebody finding out exactly what's going on
Couldn't agree with
for
you
4
more.
years.
That's right.
Yeah, it need to
Well,
be.
this building alone is $10,000.
This one's 10,000 a month.
Just on this building.
Just this building.
And we're going to 6,000 for all of them.
All of
I've been here since
Good Lord.
2015, and it was like $3,500 initially.
Yeah.
That's steadily increased. The most recent one, actually,
Good gracious. What's been done, looked into this?
I mean, we have, that's the thing, is that I feel like we've given a lot of grace for them to try and figure out what's going on, and it's not fixed, which is why a lot of others.
I'm glad.
Sounds like the lawyer should have sent them some paperwork to me.
Let's see.
So now we're gonna be down
The
to,
recent one that
sorry.
we paid was $9,279.48.
For a month.
Just for this building, though, this building itself.
And now we're talking about doing the whole county.
For
For
6,800.
Yes.
6,800, right? The whole county. That's a
That's
no-brainer.
right.
That's
great.
I'm glad Carlos and Lincoln fella.
Yeah, yes, sir.
And,
Yeah, we found a tip line from 2021 in the sheriff's office for $350 a month, one line. So, last year was $250 a month. And we called it, and maybe, I think we got a fax tone or something on it. We didn't even get a person. So I don't know how you're calling in tips. But anyway, it's just stuff like that. It's just a good process to go through, because you always add lines, but you never cut anything off for 50 years, you know. So there's no telling what's out there, you know, that you can recoup on.
I'll tell you what, again, I appreciate Carlos and his team and you and everybody, because that's
Yeah.
what we got to do. The bottom line, we stewards of the taxpayers' money, so anytime we can save something, that's helping everyone.
Okay.
Well, if you got deadlines and they're increasing the rates like everybody else does, then that's where that's coming from.
Yeah.
My understanding was that AT&T had mentioned that, I guess a long time ago, we were under a flat contract for copper telephone service. That contract expired a long time ago, and they have zero interest in maintaining that equipment because it's intensive for them. And so they had mentioned that you would see increases, but it's been very rapid.
Only thing I can say, it's been nice doing business with them.
Yeah. Well, let's
Well,
get
we
that.
appreciate-
Carlos,
let's get
Carlos,
that.
appreciate it.
Thanks, Lincoln Fellows,
Sure do.
Spencer, appreciate y'all.
Thank y'all. Thank you.
Cause that's gonna be a huge
Okay,
sales.
thank y'all.
We need to start that next month.
Yeah,
That's something, I didn't know it was that.
and then I bet you whoever we got to call and offer.
All right, let's go to C. Sawdust Trail, we're gonna just carry that over. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Sawdust Trail Road Improvement Request.
Hello, my name is Bradley Carroll, and I'm with a company called Advantage Development. We are interested in building apartments on Sawdust Trail on a particular piece of property. The front of the property is we've got about 324, 25 feet of paving that needs to be done, so our entire property will have road frontage, and we're willing to do that at our cost and at county spec, of course. But I would need to get a letter from the commission saying that you approve us improving the road, and we will do it to whatever the county spec is for, together, how much asphalt, all that kind of stuff. We don't have a problem with any of that. So it'll be about 324 feet.
Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be good.
You gonna do it before you start on them or after?
Well, we're in the process of trying to get our financing together, so it may not happen at all. and the letter can read, you know, if you want to put some caveats in there about it has to be this or that, but we're not, obviously, if we don't get the deal, we're not gonna buy the property and.
We're not gonna pay the road.
And pay the road, but if we do, we will.
So I mean, what I'm asking is, you gonna do it before the condominiums go in or when they're done?
I would think we would probably wait till after, just so we don't mess it up,
Right.
you know, with
Yeah.
construction equipment, and we'll be able to go in wherever we want to, not worry about the pavement, so.
Okay.
Unless it gets to be like a real rain problem or something that we may have to do something about it if it's real muddy, but I would assume we would do, at least the last coat would go on after we're finished.
Okay.
So your plan would be start at the end of the pavement that's existing and then go to your development?
The end of our side will go all the way across our side. So, because we have to have paved roads to the side, that's one of the requirements of the financing we have to have. And so, again, it stops a little before it gets to our side. So we'll start there and pave the whole thing, the entire length of the frontage of our side.
Okay.
You just need a letter to improve Sawdust Trail.
Yes, so there's a letter saying that the commission will allow us to.
Allow it.
Allow us, and of course, put in whatever caveats you want about county spec and
Yeah.
anything like
Go
that. We'll
about it.
certainly do that.
Okay.
I guess if they wanna just
Yeah,
keep
okay.
on going with it, we won't have no problem with it either. will
No,
we?
we gotta go on.
Well, that'll start costing you. We'll do the first part for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any question on it?
How many apartments you gonna have going in?
Somewhere between 80 and 100 probably. We're looking at maybe a little lower end around 80 now, but, it's just, you know, it's according to what our finance looks like and what interest rate looks like and everything that's going on.
Okay.
But we're looking at 80 to 100.
So it will start behind where that modern building used to be at, right there.
I don't know the area that well. It is.
What's a building when you turn off the Brunswick Highway there?
It is, it's that.
Pavement
crossroad.
ends down there.
Right behind
Yeah,
there?
yes, right after the pavement ends, there is, 2 trailers and a house currently on it, and the trailers and their occupants will be relocated by the current property owners, and then the people who live in the house will be relocated somewhere, we're gonna tear the house down.
Well, I wrote out wondering about it, based on where you're talking about the end of the pavement, there's some, couple of mobile homes in the house, so they'll all be taken, okay.
Yes, sir, that's the property that we're looking at right now. So
Okay.
we'll clean that off and put some apartments on it, hopefully.
Okay.
Mr. Carroll.
Yes.
There's an application, I think, out for this parcel to be annexed into the city, is that correct?
That's correct. Satya did not want to run the water sewer to it, the sewer was basically it, because it was about a mile and they would have to go under the CSX tracks and under Knight Avenue. And it was going to be cost prohibitive. They didn't feel like they'd be able to recoup their costs. The city has so far been, you know, in favor of extending water and sewer to us since we can't get it from Satya. And so we had to agree to help them annex us into the city to be able to, you know, to be able to get the sewer. But we have to have a sewer. And I understand why Satya didn't want to do it. If I'd been them, I wouldn't want to do it either. If our dealing with CSX is a major problem when you're trying to bore under their lines.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
So we didn't want to get into that, and they didn't either, so.
Well, we should have sewer lines already out there with Logan Scott stuff put up, did don't we?
It's all on the
That's
side
on
of the road.
Scarlet Road.
It's on the other side of Knight Avenue.
This is right there, you know where they just built a new little pool hall? That's on that side of Brunswick. You turn right down side of it.
Is that great building, Sammy?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cause I was wondering what was that building,
Yes,
that's the pool hall, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
And a very nice place too,
okay.
inside. They done a good job.
Looks on the
Okay.
crossroad.
And I can provide Mr. Moore with a suggested letter, and of course, you guys will do what you want to with it, but I'll put what kind of the language we think we need in it. Or have I already done that, or?
No, sir, not
Okay, well, I
yet.
will do that tomorrow.
I just put 7. Okay, yeah. We'll carry it over. All right, we appreciate it.
Mr. Moore does have to get a hold of us, if you guys have any questions for me, I'll be glad to answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay,
One more question,
thank you,
sir.
Mr. Carroll.
If this, Mr. County Manager?
Yes,
If
sir.
this is being asked for the city to be annexed into the city, and
But,
why should we go forward
well,
with?
the thing is that annexation application is gonna have to go to the state only because it would create an island. That property is not contiguous to the city limits.
Right.
And so you can't create an island, but the state can approve it for whatever reason. And, you never know, it might come pass. I mean, especially with the situation with housing nowadays. You know, I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud, and so, but yeah, it would have to go to state because the city can't annex if it's not contiguous to their city
It's
limits
gotta be
line.
touching theirs.
They would consider that island annexation?
Yeah.
If you
Yes,
did
sir.
that.
Yeah.
And they are, we're having, on Thursday, there was a public hearing about the annexation, and again, it wasn't our idea, but, you know, they said that we had to try to annex in if they were going to provide sewer for us, and that's fine, I don't care if we annex in or not, but we have to have a sewer, so.
You might care once you see them taxes.
Well, we'll have that in our budget, so hopefully we'll break it. And I heard y'all are lowering taxes or something, I've been hearing.
This
Yeah,
is
we
the
were
county,
over
not the city.
Oh,
The city manager was just sitting back there a while ago. He goes,
I said hello to him, we've been working together, so.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much.
All righty.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mr. Carroll. Okay, that,
so we're just gonna give the property to the city? We're just gonna give the property to the city?
okay, this D. Okay, we got a bid award for motor graders.
Mr. Chairman, Commission, we
Right.
advertised for bids for 2 motor graders.
Yeah.
Received three vendors, submitted bids, Dobbs, Linder, and Yancey. And based on the lowest bidder of the 2 different types, Yancey was the one that had the lowest price on both. The motor graders with a sloper and one without. The one with the sloper, if I'm not mistaken, with the sloper is $408,203, and one without a sloper is $306,154.
Caterpillar, Yancey, the only one that had a warranty?
They all have one.
All of them had one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7-year or 800 hours, 8,000 hours.
Caterpillar actually has an 8,000-hour powertrain warranty in addition to the regular one that the other 2 don't offer.
They done got none on them. They got-
Well,
Yeah, that's powertrain.
Melinda,
just powertrain.
Melinda admitted, forgot to put it on there.
Oh, okay. But they all do have a powertrain.
They all do have the powertrain warranty and a preventive maintenance warranty, all bids were
Okay.
above board.
And you answered that here, that's what.
Yes, sir, Yancey is the local deal.
Okay.
They got the Caterpillar.
You good with these?
On the Caterpillar right here, they, this 5-year 75 out doesn't include time and mileage. That we're gonna get an extra charge for time and mileage.
Nope, everything's inclusive, all 3 dealers included time and mileage. Reason Yancey Brothers probably they just put local because they got trucks right here and they got the charges.
So y'all are requesting one with a sloper and one without a sloper?
One with a sloper and one without a sloper.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
I think it's good
Okay.
that, you know, like I say, they come in, they will see our bids, and then by them being local, if you have some kind of problem, it's just a matter of picking up the phone and having somebody
Correct.
out there.
Correct.
So we're only gonna have one sloper?
Well, we have
One with a sloper,
3 more
one
slopers
without.
out there, but you're only buying 2 graders at this time, and one has a sloper and one's a straight grader.
Do we need another sloper?
With them slopers, you know, they get fatigued. One right now, put 2 pins in last week. Ain't nothing to fix, but I think it was an extra hitches and help these roads get better shape.
That's one of the biggest complaints I receive is the ditches not being pulled.
Yes, sir.
And that slope is more conducive for that.
Right.
Correct, that's
Right.
what sloper's for.
Right.
Dig them
What
ditches
the
back up.
ditches.
crown the top of the road back out in the middle.
Well, it won't crown the top of the road, but it'll get the dirt out of the ditch where we can crown the road back.
Right.
With a nose.
Yes, sir.
All right.
You good with these, Larry?
I'm good with it.
Okay.
We polled our operators on what they wanted, and they prefer the cat with the joystick, with the joysticks too, so everybody should be happy.
Okay.
We appreciate it.
All right, thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Larry.
We'll carry that over.
We'll carry it over. Okay. Courthouse control and back box turnkey project proposal. Now, Mr. Burris, you won that. That'll get you out.
About time. Well.
You got us a warrant.
Got us a 5-year warranty
Yeah.
too.
Hey, leave what
You
you
did
say you
good.
have not because you ask not, so,
That's right.
you know, all they can say is, no, we can do this and we can do that, so I'm glad of that, you know.
Okay.
Well, we thank you for
Is there any
that.
more questions on it? Any discussion on
I
it?
just thank Commissioner Burris for,
I do too.
giving it a heads
We all,
up
we
there.
all up here as a team. That's
Okay.
what- Try to get the job done.
That's right.
We'll carry that over.
Okay, let's carry it on over. All right. Alcohol license application for Family Dollar, 2000 South Georgia Parkway. Now, that's at the, Family Dollar. Have we got anybody else?
Well, I was waiting, Jimbo's here or something, there it is.
Jimbo?
Family Dollar.
Come up here.
Thinking that.
That's,
Everything in a
that's right there.
They're
Quarter.
good. You know, back, I guess about a year ago, the commission granted an alcohol license there. But they changed the applicant from the, store manager to a regional manager or district manager, which is kind of common what they do. So, but they meet all the requirements.
That's right, this is right down here. This right down the road here.
No, it's one across from the, college.
They're on the corner.
Oh, right next to, right
Yeah,
next to the
yeah,
Mexican
yeah,
trailer?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I don't know if we need to put it here, that fight we had down there. I don't know if we.
Yeah, that's the one in the county by the college.
Okay.
The license has to be in the manager's name now, don't it, instead of the owner?
Well, what you do when you've got corporations like Family Dollar, Circle K, is usually your district managers apply. So, before they had a regional man, or a store manager apply. Well, they said, no, we're gonna go back to drawing board, have a district manager. The store managers and the district managers don't turn over like the store manager does.
Okay.
So,
So nothing's changed on the application other than the applicant's name?
yes, sir.
Okay.
There's nothing against it, nobody against it, I don't guess, are they?
Well,
License, they can't be on there.
do they follow, I think, isn't there some kind of code or something? I might have changed it in the state. You know, it's been a long time since I retired, but
Well, they got to be so
selling
far
liquor,
from-
or, is it selling liquor or either having a bar? One or the other can't be so close to the school.
Well, it's 300 feet, to the front door for beer and wine. And then liquor is 600 feet, I believe. So they're right at the 300-foot mark. So when you measure it out, you go from their property to their front door, it's 300 feet.
Okay.
So they're gonna do beer and wine,
Beer and wine, they don't do
no liquor.
Right.
Okay,
Just like Walmart and other places.
all right.
Okay. All right,
You've got the
Thank
next
you,
one,
James.
Jimbo. You have the next, on the ordinance.
we're gonna need you to come back, that's because you got the next one.
Yeah,
ordinance. 24-01 regulation camping on public property.
So, I guess you're probably aware, we've gotten several complaints about, people camping down at Jamestown Landing.
Boat ramp, yeah.
So, what this is, the ordinance, goes into offenses in the county ordinance that basically prohibits anybody from camping on county property. County property being the landing, the right-of-ways, anything the county owns.
Parks.
That include, when they get through the bridge, the boat ramp?
That's DOT.
DOT? So
That's
the
that
county
part.
doesn't have any of that?
county doesn't have any of that.
Okay.
And that would also go for like 158 would be DOT as well.
So that won't concern this,
No, sir.
only Jamestown landed, people
Jamestown
fishing
landed.
and camping.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So there's been a problem down there with that?
Well, we just, ever since the bridge construction started, I don't know if if the people moved from Blackshear Bridge, but ever since the bridge construction started, they've shown up at the landing.
I think there's two down here now, since that construction started, but I think a lot of them come over here in the city. They were right over there in that little lot in front of the old cigar factory out there in front of Stewart's where they make the candy. Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize, we have a homeless issue in Waycross and Ware County.
We do.
They don't realize, because if you go, the underpass over there by the rice yard,
Yeah.
that block of woods used to be there, and there's tents set up on that slope of the bridge, and there's a bridge there. On the road.
Behind, even behind Sonic and all that back there.
And you also got them behind like Plant Cafe up there too, behind that, all
We'll
those
get-
buildings, there's like 10 behind there.
We got a hand back here wants to say something. You want to say something on this?
If he can
I
come
filled
up.
out a form, but I didn't know it had to be turned in before the meeting started. And that's my fault.
Oh,
But she also, and I would like to say something on this.
Could he come up to the podium?
She lives within about 100 feet, 200 feet of the landing.
Could they go up to the?
would you come up here and tell us? Oh, this is about this landing?
It's
Come,
about-
come up here to the podium, please. This is about the, boat land, ramp,
Yes.
okay.
My name is Dennis Strickland. I live at 2549 Pebble Hill Road.
And I'm
Thank-
Diane Piegler. I live right across from the landing, 5475 Jamestown Road.
Okay.
From where she lives, she can sit on her carport and see the first tent that's down there. Her husband's passed away, and it's her and her son that lives up there in that house. And like I say, she's within 150, 200 foot of the first tent down there. There's two tents. We have heard that those two people are previous prisoners, and that, what were they?
They were, I understand that they were charged with sex offense. That disturbs me quite a bit since I'm on my own there.
And we've got more people back here that live just a little ways from it. I'd say I live about 300 or 400 yards from it, through the orchard. And it does concern us. We can see them around the tent sometimes during the day, but we often wonder, where do they go at night when we're asleep? There's no public facilities down there for them to use, toilets or anything like that. We don't know what all is going on down there, and it's very disturbing, really.
Well, let's take care of that, Jane. I went down there, I had a call on it, and I did, I went down there and saw this tent.
My next point was on it too, because I recommend, and I don't know how we do it, but get with the advising attorney, we recommend we designate the boat ramp as a county park.
Can we fence it if we do that? Can we put up a fence, 8-foot fence?
Well, you wouldn't put up a fence, but you designate it as a county park, and if you designate it as a county park, if a person has restrictions, then they no longer can live within 1,000 feet of the park.
When you say you have restrictions, could you elaborate a little on that?
Well, some people, some offenders, sex offenders, are required by the law, by the courts, to have restrictions, which is 1,000 feet from a park, 1,000 feet from a church.
Schools.
School, and they can't live, some go as far as can't work. And so that's what I would recommend that we, designate that as a county park. I think recreation mows it, is am I right?
Yes.
Recreation mows it, it's a recreation place where people go put their boat in, they go down there and fish. So, and I don't know what the how we designate that, but that's what I would recommend.
Yeah, I know that, a new no trespassing sign's been put up, but it was, I have a phone and I go by it every day. I just hadn't stopped in there and look at it, but it looks like to me, the way they had explained it to me, he wasn't sure if he could park after he put his boat in over there. And I was like, yeah, he said, well, the way they got it put up, it means, it looks like you can't, there's no trespassing in the parking lot side.
Well, from what we can tell on tax maps, the road going into the landing, to the boat ramp, and the area that is cleared out, that is mowed, is listed as county property.
Okay.
The area that was just ground, that goes from where it's cleared up to Jamestown Road, and wraps around, is one of Mr. Pickler's brothers, sisters.
My stepson,
Stepson.
my husband's son.
It was Mr. Pickler's Mr. Pickler's son, owns that part of it, so it was just, you know, because, if we move them off, if you pass this ordinance, and somebody gives permission right off the right of way or whatever, then they can do it there. But if you designate it as a park, then they couldn't move to that new location.
You would have to go
They
further
may
out.
have restrictions, now, I don't know if these have restrictions or not, well, everybody has restrictions, but.
From what I understand, the no trespassing sign was put up to refer to the campers down there. It wasn't for the fishermen that use it to park.
That's right.
Stuff like that. It's just to try to keep those people off. And those are the ones that we're concerned with. Also, we have problems with people going down to that landing and shooting tanninite. And I mean, we get big booms sometimes from there. And, they will go down there in their trucks and spin around circles and they dump stuff down there.
Yeah, there is a trash problem down there too.
Yeah.
It's actually went down since the wreck started maintaining it.
Yeah.
You should have been before the wreck started going for all of it.
You suggest we do this and put it into a park?
That's what I would suggest, I'm not sure. if
Can we do that?
Attorney agrees with me or not.
We're gonna
Council,
look
can
into
we do
that, but we believe that may be an option. I mean, certainly if they're moving to, this ordinance should address camping on our property. The next step is trying to address if they move right nearby. Now, if they're on private property, that'd be a trespassing issue. The sheriff could take care of that. But I think what we're looking at is if they're not on our public county property, but they're not on private property, maybe they're on some little right of way or something, you know, that would then be, maybe the park would address that. So we're honestly thinking a few steps forward. So we can tonight, start with this, and that should address camping on public property.
Yeah.
And then we'll look into that issue also.
Okay.
And then,
Wasn't that area designated also for kayaking on the
Kayak trail.
kayak trail? I don't know what that falls under, but we have no problem with that. But we have problems with people going down there discharging firearms.
Yeah.
I've heard automatic weapons being shot down there at the landing.
Yes.
And it's dangerous because they don't know who's across the river or in the woods or whatever. We've got a lot of dangerous activities going on down there.
Isn't that the ramp that DNR just put a new,
That was
Thank-
158.
That was
that was 158?
But I tell you, I appreciate,
That, excuse me.
so I appreciate y'all coming with concern, and I can understand you being there, basically like say by yourself, and all this activities going on, and plus you don't never know, and that's the time we're living in now, and you got to be more vigilant than we've ever been about different people, because people do some crazy stuff now.
well, from where that first 10 is, it ain't no more than a 10-second walk and you'll be at her mailbox in her driveway.
Exactly.
And I love to sit out on my carport. I have a swing out there, and I don't feel safe just sitting there. I never know where he is. I thought he was gone one day, and I was sitting on my swing enjoying my afternoon. And next thing I know, he's climbing out of his tent, walks to the stop sign. I don't know what he's doing.
So is this somebody think it's homeless, just got his tent set up, or?
It's two homeless people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're two,
Two of them.
and they're both sex offenders. That's one of the big problems.
Mate,
But we don't want to become a tent city either.
Right.
And then during the summer, when it was really hot, there was a lot of families down there, little children and young girls in their bathing suits swimming. You don't want somebody like this right there,
I couldn't.
and they don't know what is in these tents. I do, I've found out.
I think we're gonna try to address that
Yeah,
situation.
and nighttime is what I wonder about. You can see them in the
Yeah,
daytime,
exactly.
but at nighttime, where do they go then? They've got to have food, they've got to have water and other things, and they've got two brand-new tents down there. The other two, the river got, they come up and they blew one of them off, I guess.
and I think that no trespassing sign kinda made them pull up, camp there, and get right on the side of the road now.
Exactly, and they are actually right there on the road.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a dangerous situation for them and other people.
Okay. All right, we'll look into it. And council gonna look into it.
If the commission passes this, and they could go ahead and take action, because we'll have an ordinance.
Yeah.
And then we'll look into the thing about designating as a park, and then have that at the very next meeting.
Okay,
So they unzip their tents
go ahead
and climb out on
and
that.
do this.
Go ahead and put this in effect so they can act.
Adopt it now.
Okay,
That's right.
Yeah.
let's start it.
Yeah.
Then. Let's carry it over
We'll
to
go
the
ahead and
meeting.
send the deputies out there. and
Okay.
handle it.
All right, the next one. Resolution of 2024-21 approved fiscal year 26 rural public transit grant application.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, this is a resolution we do annually for the rural transit program. We do this, the Southeast Georgia Regional Commission applies for it's a regional program now. It used to be we did this by the county, but they do this now, and this is for them to be able to apply for the funds to operate the transit program here in Ware County. Actually, they'll do it for all 18, but we're opting to be in on that application. And we do this every year.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen that on the regional. Okay, any discussion on anything else on it?
Not gonna cost us anything, is it? Don't cost Ware County anything.
Nope,
Tax
no.
money.
Okay, let's carry it over.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, the next item, under tab I, is a reimbursement agreement for the fire department.
Fire department.
Chief Meadows couldn't be here. He was, serving as a pallbearer in a funeral, and he asked if we could just move this to the next meeting, if that's okay.
Okay, let's just move that one in. Okay, next one is J, change order number 1 and number 2 for East Coast resurfacing contract.
Yes, sir.
24
Mr. Chairman,
LD.
Commission, this is two change orders. One is for Mount Pleasant Road, for resurfacing for $106,575.70. And the other is Jamestown Road, to extend the resurfacing that we have a current contract on from Sandy Bottom Road all the way around to Johnny Minshew Road, roughly about 1.54 miles in the amount of $446,759.51.
Okay,
And there's a copy of the change orders in the back there from East Coast Asphalt.
right.
For background information on Mount Pleasant, we started that about a year ago. Brandon and Gene and the city was involved, and now Larry's drainage crew. They have changed the old cross drains to concrete pipe, concrete culvert. At the intersection of Mount Pleasant and Central Avenue is, as you know, Circle K convenience store. There's a problem with their parking lot, and they have agreed to work with Larry on renovating their parking lot and driveway to upgrade it. We've got dirt being pulled out of their driveway during wet times
filling up the culvert. They've agreed to do whatever we need to do for that. And it's now to the point to, resurface, and this was supposed to be on the contract we approved our last meeting, but I guess when Brandon left, it got dropped through the cracks and didn't get on the list. So it's the next step, ready to go. And I just, for comments, I understand, well, Scott recommends that Jamestown Road be resurfacing, be extended. I think he had talked to the chairman, and they think that it should be carried on. And I asked Scott if we could discuss it. I mean, I'm in favor of that too.
Yeah.
Carried on to Johnny Minchie Road. And Scott said the funds are available.
Yeah, I agree that the, Mount Pleasant Road does need it. I went down it, it needs some work done on some bad work. And, City Boulevard, yeah. Okay. Any more comment on that?
No, I wrote down I understand about the Jamestown, I didn't write out there, but I talked to Scott, and he told me to talk to you, and he said he's in agreement about that needing to be, extended on out. And also on that Mount Pleasant Road, it's in pretty bad shape. But one question I have is that, now part of that Mount Pleasant Road, just a short section, I guess, is in the city, right?
The city engineer, who happens to be my brother, says that they will work with us to do their share from the county, from the city limits to City Boulevard.
Well, I think that'd be good if we can, and that way, just do it all at one time, you know, instead
Just
of.
let them, instead of two different companies doing it, just let them reimburse us.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Do
a
it all at
short
one time.
portion off of City,
Huh?
where there's a short portion off
Right,
of City
City.
Boulevard, even halfway down before you get to the curve. That's all city and the rest of it's county.
Yeah, so I think, like I said, we can work in conjunction with them to, try to do it all at one time and just be done with it.
Yep.
That's a good move.
Let them reimburse
Okay.
us later.
Any more?
I was just saying, let our company, whoever we pick to do ours, East Coast, and just do it from start to finish.
Yep.
And then the city reimburse us, because we don't want to split it up into two different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
From the canal back to City Boulevard.
well, it might just be something we donate to.
Can
the
we
city.
do that, Madam Attorney?
So we just wanna look, it sounds like it's not much at all, and so I think what we may wanna do is just get in touch with the engineer, find out exactly how much it is.
I think that would do more in-kind service for.
That's what I
for the
wondered,
map.
if we might look into something of
Right.
that sort. So I think let us get our heads around exactly what's there, how much it would be, and then I think we'll know what our options could be.
It's a short distance.
Yes. We wanna make sure that they don't get, selective amnesia after we pave it and say, oh, well, I can't remember saying that,
I don't think they got any problem with anything we
something.
pave in the city.
They probably will. All righty.
Larry,
Mr.
had his
Larry?
hand up right there.
Any more?
Yes, sir, if you're extending that road on the Johnny Minchie to be paved, if the outlet, there's 3 or 4 places between there and Haywood Baptist Church or Haywood Road, that, we've potholed 3 or 4 times, but they could go out there and maybe catch that one lane for 15 or 20 feet, where that stuff's starting to delaminate, come loose. While they out that way, that would save us a lot of headache.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
There's a bunch of,
There's several bad places even between Johnny Minchie and Haywood.
them shoulders.
Then it gets
need to
back
be
pretty
clipped off.
good. Really past, right there, right before you get to, Miller Hayes.
Tell you what, them shoulders needs clipping off out there real bad. That's what's causing them roads to tear up, is the water setting on. If you don't clip them shoulders off, you ain't solving the problem. Okay? All right? We could probably do that on a change order then, Larry, I guess.
Yes,
If we-
I'll talk with them and
Some
get
of
them
those
to
potholes
figure
out
that
there,
out.
or you just, I know there's some bad ones, we went out and looked at them.
That's dangerous when, some folks can move at a pretty good clip on that highway and you hit one of those holes.
Right. Yeah. That dirt's so high on the side, it holds that water.
Mm-hmm.
On the road, yeah.
It'll hide the plane. Okay. Carry that over. All right, now, 6 is, consider a motion to enter into an executive session to discuss personnel.
So moved.
I second.
Got a motion and a second. Let's go in executive session. All in favor? Aye. call the meeting to order. This is our regular meeting, Monday, September the 9th. Let's call the meeting to order. We done a roll call, so we can skip the roll call.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
Excuse me, sir. We just want to formally close the executive session and adjourn our work session, and then we'll take, and then open our next meeting.
Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, do I hear a motion that we close the executive session?
So move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The executive session is closed. Okay. Now, we're gonna go on, we're gonna skip the roll call and the.
Close your work
Close the
session.
work session.
We don't-
Close the work
we
session.
close the work session. Yeah. Okay. Now, I hear a motion to approve the agenda.
Gotta close the work session.
Oh, yeah, we hadn't closed the work
Yeah,
session.
just a
Okay,
motion
I
to
hear a
close.
motion that we close the work session.
So moved.
Open the work session.
No, a motion to close the work
work
session,
session.
and then we'll
Motion to
open the,
close the
work-
yeah,
Oh,
we'll
okay.
open the meeting.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
motion to close the work session.
So
Gotcha.
moved, Chair.
Got a motion? Second?
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Work session is closed. Okay. Now let's go on to the regular meeting. We're gonna skip the roll call and the pledge of allegiance. We already done that, so. Now I hear a motion that we approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Approve the agenda. Okay, the guest speaker, not on the agenda, we don't have anybody. We done had them on the work session. All right, now we got an employee of the month. It's Lisa Green, the clerk of the court.
Mr. Chairman,
It's
Commissioners,
Teresa.
Teresa's out, on a medical issue, so I'm gonna do the employee of the month for her.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Scott, you can take it over then.
Employee of the Month for September 2024. The Ware County Board of Commissioners would like to recognize Lisa Green as Employee of the Month for September 2024. Lisa was nominated by the Clerk of Courts, Melba Five-Ash, stating the following. Lisa began working in my office in January 1985 and has been a dedicated employee from the start. She works in the criminal division of the office and does a great job at her position. She is always well prepared for the hearings and trials we conduct in criminal court. She works well with other employees and is always willing to help in any way she can to ensure things in the office get done when necessary. Her attendance is impeccable and allows her to keep up with the very demanding nature of her duties. Lisa shows up whenever she is needed and she excels in all she does for this office. You'd be hard pressed to find another employee that is hardworking and dedicated to their profession as Lisa. So please help me congratulate Lisa Green as Ware County's Employee of the Month for September 2024.
Come on, Miss Melba.
Come up front.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Okay. I hear a motion that we approve the meetings for August 24, the work session, the public hearing, the regular meeting, the work session, and the public hearing and the call meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I offer motion that we approve the work session minutes of August 12th, public hearing August 12th, the regular meeting August 12th, work session of August 26th, and the public hearing August 26th, and the call meeting of August 26th.
Okay, got a motion.
Second.
Got a second, okay. Let's vote on it. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Go on to the agenda item now. Ware County Government Telephone System Upgrade. We know what that's about.
Chairman, I offer a motion that we approve this Ware County telephone system upgrade.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second.
Need to state the amounts.
All in favor?
They had.
Any
on the
discussion
amount.
on it?
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
18,000,
What was the amount on the upstart? I can't remember.
25,000.
Let's see.
It was 25,000 up front.
Was it 25? Is that what's, because I can't recall seeing it in there.
it was 18, I thought.
18,500.
Yeah.
18,500.
It's because they waived the 5,000.
18, they waived the
Started.
5,000, 18,500.
And then the monthly was what would be?
So the monthly is $63.89, $6,389.90.
Yeah.
Okay.
6389.90.
For the term of 36 months.
Yep, time of Thursday. I'd like to add that to my motion, upfront charge of 18,500 and a monthly charge of 6,389.90, and that'd be for a term of 36 months.
My second includes that change.
Okay. Is there any discussion on it?
I would just like to say, I hope we can get this started by the next month. Let's go ahead and get it,
Yes, right.
let's get it going.
Go ahead and work
And
on
I'd like to express my appreciation to Mr. Carlos, Mr. Spencer, and the work that their department's been doing, because they're the ones that really brought this to our attention.
Exactly.
it. Yeah. Okay. We got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion. Boom. Okay, B, the Sawdust Trail Road Improvement Request. Now, he's asked for a letter, I guess, to approve this. And he wants an authorization letter, so
Yes, sir.
you do that, is everybody?
I'll do that. Yes, sir. I'll put that together, and all we really need is a official action by the commission to approve have that letter sent.
Okay. I hear a motion that we approve this letter and be,
I make a motion that we approve the road improvement request made by Sawdust Trail. I believe he said it was gonna be at their expense, but we don't know if it's gonna be done fully at the beginning or at the end, but it will be completed once the
okay.
money is allotted and the property's purchased.
And it will stipulate that the road design and construction will have to be to Ware County standards.
Standards, that's right. Okay.
I'll second the motion under discussion. That's for potential apartment housing development on Sawdust Trail, right?
Yes, sir, between 80 and
Got a
100.
second on that?
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any discussion on it now?
I would like to see what we could do to not annex that land into the city. I mean, if there was anything we could, further. I mean, I know we can't right now, but, if Scott could look into it, maybe even talk to Satilla Water and the sewer,
I don't,
Yeah.
can
I
it be
did-
done without it?
I'm sorry?
Can it be done without?
They have-
He probably want city services, ain't he?
That's the issue. They gotta have both. They gotta have water and sewer. So from what I understand, Satilla, would have to do the maintenance on that and the cost to bore that from that, to run the sewer line.
Yeah.
And the city said they could do it, but the only way the city will provide it is for it to be annexed into the city.
So looking at the map, I think the city would have to bring their services,
from the mall.
coming from back of Walmart and coming through that way, rather than
Behind
coming
Guy's.
down Brunswick Highway and Sawdust Trail.
Yeah,
That's why they want that part annexed.
yeah.
It ties into the city back of Walmart.
Well, I don't know if I'd agree to that, giving them the land.
We're not gonna be
We-
giving them any land.
He bought the land.
But
He
they
did.
they gonna pay the street.
That, they gonna
And
pay
we're
the
gonna
street
lose
off.
taxes on it once we annex that into the city.
Still get county
We'll lose
taxes.
revenue.
I don't know how much it'll be, but I mean,
No,
How we
we
gonna
don't
lose
know the
revenue?
county collects taxes on it.
They gonna still pay
Still pay county taxes.
county
Yeah,
taxes.
it's-
That's all we getting now.
taxes. No, we won't lose nothing.
Yeah, we won't lose
Pay
that
more
money.
with that construction,
yeah.
but anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, but,
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Okay. We got a motion and a second to authorize it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay. It passed. Okay, C, bid award for the motor graders. Now y'all know what that one is.
Mr. Chairman, I almost that we approve the bids for the motor graders for the one regular motor grader and the other one sloper, and I can't remember that amount. I think it was 400.
We got one
The motor
at
grader with the sloper.
306.
There it is.
Okay, yeah,
Yellow.
I got it right here now.
Make a motion on that.
306, 154, and the one with the slope, $408,203.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Under discussion, that's from Yancey Company with a Caterpillar brand, correct?
Local too.
Yes.
To give
Located in
you,
White Cross?
to give you some kind of comparison, I think it was about 5 years ago, we bought a motor grader, we bought two of them, and they were $261,000,
Kind of went up a little bit, didn't it?
just a little.
Yeah, they were a little blunt.
It don't sound like they give us a good deal on our warranty, does it, mister?
Well, that's the next thing. I want to talk about them warranties.
Yeah,
You ain't gotta talk to the
Yeah.
Yancey man you have with Mr. Burson.
Yeah, I have to talk to him, you know.
Yeah, you better get a little more.
Because we ain't voted yet.
All right. We got a motion now. Did we get a second on it?
No, no, sir.
We ain't got a second. Have you got a second on it?
I'll second
Yeah.
that.
You got a
Kenny
second?
seconded.
Okay, got a second. All right, any discussion? Before we vote. Well, let's vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Hendrick?
Aye.
And the chair vote aye. Okay. D, courthouse control and valve box, turnkey project proposal. Now, Mr. Burris, you got that one.
You didn't make a
Say
motion.
what now?
You gonna make a motion on that?
That's your
Glad.
project.
Did he give you the warranty on that thing?
So we got it.
Okay, I hear a motion on that thing. Did we,
I make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we approve the VAV box turnkey project proposal. I think what was it, 916?
That's with train, ain't it?
918-004.
Yeah, I saw 916 somewhere. You know, I asked you about that.
It was the same price, I went back and checked it.
Nine,
Yeah,
okay.
yes, sir.
918?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
18.
918.
918,
004, I think.
With train, ain't
With
it?
train, yeah,
Yes,
with
sir.
train.
Okay,
And this should pretty much get everything like we need over there at the courthouse, right? Okay.
Yep.
Is that it?
all
Could
right,
the
we got
minutes
the
show that
motion.
that includes an extended warranty for the,
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
We'll
it
put
was
that
in
in
there.
there.
That's what
It's
it
in
is.
there already.
thanks to Commissioner Burris.
Okay, Mr. Burris made the motion, I got a second.
Second.
You got a second, okay. All right, let's vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Hendrick?
aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. Now, alcohol license application for Family Dollar, 2000 South Georgia Parkway. And, everything was in order according to James, it's, okay. I hear a motion on it.
Chairman, I move we approve the alcohol license request as presented by Chief Schubert.
Okay.
And that'll be for what, family?
Family Dollar,
Family Dollar on South Georgia Parkway.
South, 2000 South Georgia Parkway. Okay. You got that one. Got a motion. We got a second?
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Let's vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Nay.
Mr. Hendricks?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Okay. Okay, F, the ordinance for 2024-01 regulating camping on public property.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the ordinance 2024-01 regulating camping on public property as presented by the chief of the Ware County Police.
Okay.
Second.
You got a second? You got a motion and a second, okay. Any discussion on it?
Other than, let's see if we can get it turned into a county park, and that'll keep
Yeah.
registered sex offenders from doing whatever they can do there.
Can we put it in a park under this motion? I mean, do we need to, is that gonna be a good move, or?
So I think,
That would be secondary, wouldn't it? I didn't mean to interrupt, I'm
oh,
sorry.
no, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That would be secondary after we adopt this and then we do the park.
I think the game plan that was discussed during the work session is that there are a couple of homeless gentlemen who are camping out in tents currently on public property. And this ordinance is meant to address camping on public property. And then the next step would be, if they move to either private property, which then would be trespassing, and or move to another nearby location, which then would need to be addressed within the 1,000-foot view, 1,000-foot rule from a park. And so that's why we were gonna investigate. But no, we, at this time, have not researched or discerned, what steps, if any, and it may be as simple as a motion to designate as a park. But the county manager and I wanted the option just to look into that and make sure there's no other steps that need to be taken.
Okay. So we need to go ahead with this then.
So we'll
and
just
go ahead
approve the
with
ordinance
this
tonight,
ordinance.
and then if
Okay.
you'll allow us, we'll bring that back to you at the next meeting.
Okay. All right.
Chairman, I also like to just say on the discussion on that, maybe we could just inform the sheriff to kind of do a little bit more, beefing up a little more patrol in that area out there. And maybe that might be a deterrent also for that.
Ask him, yeah. Okay.
He's got them out there, they just ain't going up there and addressing that.
Yeah.
They wanna
Now, we
address
have a
other
motion
stuff
and a
that they
second
shouldn't
on
be
that,
addressing.
didn't we?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Any more discussion on it? You got anything else, Sammy?
No, sir.
Okay. Let's vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Hendrick?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. Resolution 2024 approves the fiscal year 26 rural public transit grant application. That's a regular thing that I hear a motion that we
Mr. Chair,
Approve it.
I make a motion, we approve resolution 2024-21 to approve fiscal year 26 rural public transit grant application as presented by Ms. Megan Fowler from SGRC, South Georgia Regional Center.
Okay. I got a second.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? Okay, let's vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Hendrick?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. Change order number 1 and 2 for East Coast resurfacing contract 2024 LMIG. Okay. We had an increase of, for both of them, what, about 400 and something thousand, was it?
I think
55.
53.
Four, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I hear a motion that we
I made the motion, we,
accept the change order.
that we approve the change order number 1 and 2 for Mount Pleasant Road and Jamestown Road in the amounts just of 553,335.21. You can interpret that.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, got a motion and a second on it. Any discussion on it?
Under discussion, Mr. Moore said funds are available, so it shouldn't be a problem.
them funds are coming out of where are they coming from?
But
The LMIG or the?
it's a, yes, sir, it's a LMIG contract. We have to put, local match money with it. And if it's anything beyond, normally when they do the change orders, we pay it out of our local funds.
Okay.
You said something too, Scott, about the, what was it, the regional?
Yeah, regional discretionary fund.
Regional
Yes.
Peace Block discretionary fund.
Yes.
Okay.
We're using that, I would mention this to you, we're using that now as the match until the SPOS, so we can start using the SPOS money to match, because we're saving for the overpass right now.
Right.
Yeah.
When it starts coming in and we can use it, right?
Right, yeah, once we
For
start
other
dividing it up,
uses.
then we can start using that as the match money.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Where we at now on that money, you know, right off? Probably.
It was 9.4 million. We gotta get to the 12, we have to get to 12 million.
We got,
It won't take long.
4 to go would be.
You're getting almost about $800,000 a month. So you're
So it's
looking at
about-
probably.
By the end of the year.
It's close to 2 years ahead.
Yeah, we only projected to get about $650 a month, now we're getting close to
8.
8.
Right.
It's working out.
Yep.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any more discussion on it? Let's vote on it. Mr. Burson?
Aye.
Mr. Pope?
Uh,
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Henry? Aye. Chair votes aye. Okay, we got any commissioner comment?
Well, I'd like to bring up again about the wreck, because I still receive phone calls on that, when we're gonna get their board started up.
Okay.
And also, I've had a very significant amount of phone calls this week in reference to the trailers out in Emerson Park. There's a lot of concerned citizens thinking that it's gonna be turned into
Illegal
immigrants being there.
illegal immigrant housing.
And I know one of the gentlemen personally that is one of the partners in this situation. I don't think he's gonna let that happen. And I especially thank the chief for coming up with that memorandum he come up with, that the front door's got to be facing the roadway. Either side of that it's on, the front door's got to be facing the roadway. So I think that's gonna help us out a lot right there. And of course, I guess all the other ones that are still out there in that area are grandfathered in until they can, be changed out to a newer style trailer or whatever, then it's got to follow the new rule.
Commissioner Lucas, since you brought that up, could we ask, Chief Schubert to take about 2 minutes and explain exactly what that is? Because that's all I've been hearing.
Yeah, it's all right.
Everybody thinks it's the asylum.
That way everybody
Bars
can
in Mexico and all kind of people coming in.
Yeah, they're saying that.
put that rumor to bed.
Yeah, because they think we're trying to
Yeah.
make it an asylum.
Danny, you ought to listen to this now.
Sanctuary city.
So, thank you. Clay Thomas and Lafayette Ambrosio purchased that property. They purchased it, they're subdivided into 12 lots. They're roughly 9,000, 10,000 square foot lots, which is allowed in R75, makes all the lots of water and sewer. They're gonna be set up for either rent or sale. You can buy it or you can rent it, is what they're doing. They are FEMA trailers. The only way you can tell they're FEMA trailers is because the air conditioner is mounted on the side of the building. These were FEMA trailers, they're 2018 models, they were picked up, never been lived in, they were extra manufactured homes that was never used. They're furnished. I talked to Michael. Michael said that he was going to build they were going to have a 3x3 or the manufactured home steps on the front with the landing and the steps, and each one in the back, I think, don't quote me on the size, but he said he's going to put like an 8x10 maybe deck or back on the back of them. So they're not for housing people. They're for rent, and they're for for sale. Right, 12 lots. If you want to do a mobile home park, you could put 24 in there under current regulations with water and sewer. But they didn't. They wanted to do it this way. The block across Virginia from them, or Pennsylvania from them, it's already been busted up in 12 lots. A guy was going to do that several years ago, and his health went bad, so he didn't finish it. Now another guy's purchased it. That's where the mobile home park was. So that's what they're doing. And also Clay, I talked to Clay earlier, he said that he released a video, he done a video on Facebook explaining exactly what it was. So if you look up Clay Thomas's Facebook page, it'll tell you exactly what it is.
We just wanted to, I appreciate that, Chief, we just wanted to put that rumor to rest that, you know, the asylum seekers are the word.
Now, Ware County's not gonna become a sanctuary city.
Right,
Right.
we wanted to put that to sleep.
A lot of people confuse migrant workers with immigrant housing. It's
Yeah.
two different things. So, but it's not even migrant workers, so.
Yeah.
Well, you know, migrant workers, most of them, 99% of them are on the farms that they get brought over here to work on.
If we didn't have them, I wouldn't have this building.
That's right, that's right.
Okay.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, James. Anything else?
I don't. I gotta go.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I will mention a couple of things for y'all adjourn.
Okay.
I didn't know if y'all had anything. I was just gonna mention, I put the Red Star, flyer out front on the table for folks to get. That's September the 20th and 21st. The other thing is East Coast Asphalt is starting in the morning on the contract y'all awarded the last meeting. They're starting tomorrow morning on Sycamore and Old Reynolds Street.
That's good, that's good.
Sycamore is deplorable.
Yes, sir.
To say,
That's good.
say at least. And I wanted to clarify something on the Thig Pen, Gibbs Lane issue. After we had our meeting, we were told you couldn't swap them, you can't swap roads after, if you do them yourself. But I was unaware, and I was told that because they contacted me after I contacted them, that we can be reimbursed. So Danny, we can be reimbursed. We have to document everything as if they were paying for it. It's got to be the DOT standards, and I've turned in the application for that to happen, and they're going to send us a MOU, and so we just got to enter into that MOU. So we document our costs for the file. Then when it comes for that road or that street to be done in the system, the regional T-Splosh system, then we turned in our documentation and they reimbursed the county for what it cost us.
That's real good.
Can I Chairman, make a comment on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr.
If
Scott,
Scott
could we talk to Mr. Danny? Mr. Danny, is there any way we could do a retraction, what was in the paper the other day of Ware County gives up 2.5 million?
It'd be on the front page, it'd be good to me.
It'll be a clarification.
Sir?
Yeah.
It won't be a retraction, it'll be a clarification.
Yeah.
That we received.
Yeah.
Well, we'd like it on the front page that commissioners are not just throwing away money. 2.5 million is what we'd like. We'd like for it to be.
We need to clear on that.
Okay. Danny Moore, Scott, you got
That's it.
anything
I'm
else?
sorry. That's it.
That's all you got? Y'all got anything else?
Covered the wreck, we covered the trailers. I feel like I'm missing something. Help me out, Jerry.
I can't believe you missing that.
I'm missing something.
I gotta go to my grandson's birthday.
Did you get the recreation fund?
Well, we brought it up.
I think.
What are we gonna do?
We were
with it?
supposed to have we didn't have the right bylaws.
Yeah, I emailed them out to y'all. Did y'all get
Everybody
them?
got a copy of them to look at, and hopefully maybe we can put it on the next agenda.
Yeah, I emailed them. Did y'all get them? The copy,
Yeah,
the
I
current
got
one
it.
and the proposed?
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for the.
I didn't hear anything back, so I didn't know if y'all were ready or not.
Well, we can put it on the next.
Oh yeah, we can do it the next one.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
and right now, we've already got the members picked that's gonna serve on there, right?
right.
Names were mentioned, but we were waiting till the start and make sure everybody's still ready to go, because it's been a while.
Haven't appointed him yet.
Okay.
There were just names brought up. Yeah, go ahead.
And if you have feedback or changes that you'd like to see to the language in the bylaws, then if you can get that to either myself or the county manager, then we can incorporate those so you can have a final draft to vote on at the meeting.
Okay.
By Friday.
All right. Any more?
That's it.
I hear a motion to adjourn.
Got a hand back there.
Got a hand?
I just want to say, and county thanks y'all for the road graders.
Yes, sir. We thank you for the work you doing too, Mr. Gray.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Before we do go, I had asked Scott the back slope. Do we know anything
Yeah.
about when this company that we awarded that contract to is gonna start doing this work?
That was on the Johnny Minshew Road, isn't it?
Well, that we
Yeah.
give it to the whole county, they were supposed to do the whole county, right?
Yep. I don't know if they did that the first go round in April or
The
not.
back,
The back slope, now, I don't know about the back slope, but Andy's called me and I'm supposed to meet him in the morning.
Okay.
They're starting, where they're doing with their side boom or whatever part of the contract they were supposed to do that, they started this week out on Casey Road and
Yep.
Jamestown Loop, so I'm supposed to meet him in the morning to see if it meets what we wanna do.
Okay. I know Johnny Minshew's one I've been getting calls about, and there's several places that they're already touching the white line on the road.
They're
And,
supposed to, from what I've gathered on him, and I haven't seen that contract, they're supposed to come back and side boom everything that's on their original lower contract.
yeah, we awarded them the contract to mow all the back slopes of the ditches, right?
Right. Cut it, yes, each time.
On,
But I don't,
Every other time.
I wanna say it was,
I think it was just a
was it
one-time
just
deal.
one?
Yeah.
Okay, cause I can't remember, to be
But
honest with you.
I don't think they've done it yet.
I'd like to ask Scott if there's any way, I don't know if we can or not, but on those wet areas around the creeks and the wet spots where they can't get, they leave a lot of brush. Can that be sprayed by them contractors? Can we ask that they spray it,
Yeah, I
or
don't,
could the county
I'm
spray
assuming
it?
he has a license to do that because of the chemical he has to use to spray that. Cause
Yeah.
we can get it, we got the sprayer, but we had to qualify to get the license to be able,
Yeah.
to be able to do that.
Some of these wet areas, I noticed the state's
Yep.
been spraying some of theirs where they have
Yeah.
problems, where they can't get to them, you know? Some of that stuff it gets so big regularly,
Yeah.
you know, it needs spraying while it's
you
small.
can't-
if
you
we
can't
can.
get to it.
Larry might
Yeah.
get somebody to spray
Yeah.
it, you know, if we
We'll find,
can.
we'll find somebody.
Yeah, I think that needs to be done,
Yeah.
if we can. Okay. Just think about that. All right, any more?
Yes, sir. I know I brought this up several times too, and so has Sammy. It's in Sammy's district, but where do we stand on the playground? The
We've
equipment.
ordered it and we've got it, it's gonna be delivered here at the maintenance building. I watched the assembly video on it. It's pretty easy to put together. Just, you know, wrench and,
Nuts and bolts.
yeah, pretty simple. So once we get it here, I'm gonna get the maintenance guys to look at it, see if that's something they can assemble and put in. If not, I was gonna get the information there, but yes, it's on order now.
And we did get the extra anchoring kit with
Yeah.
it too, right?
Yep. It comes, I was gonna mention too, it comes with 2 swings already built on.
It does.
It does.
It does. But now, they was wanting, and she was wanting that swing set from the whole get-go. But the swing sets, I was just letting her get the quotes on them. I know they was talking about $30,000 for a playground set, so I started looking for some quotes on that.
I
But,
think that's good, Sam.
and she did, text me, see what we could do about the topsoil and the grassing, to stop the eroding out there.
Yeah, I've got the rec department on that to get that cleared up, cleaned up.
And we also, I know we've talked about a couple roads tonight that's already on another list to be done. And you know, the people that's been, coming here every meeting we've had off of Pascal Road. And they were here again tonight and
Yep.
heard us talking about the other road, so she thought hers was kicked down the road again. And I told her it's at the top of the list.
Yeah, it's, Carl Hofstadter and Associates have got that one. They're designing it as we speak. I talked with them Friday, I think it was, last Friday or Thursday. And, they're fast tracking the design on those 4 roads. I think it's, Cornelius, McDonald, Pascal, and Wadley, I think? I can't remember. It may be Wadley. We've got so many now that we're getting designed, it's hard to remember which ones are which.
And what about Torrey Circle?
Torrey Circle, that's being designed too.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's gonna have to be a complete redo.
Overhaul.
Yeah, they threw that thing together, so.
And then, what Banks, are we gonna do that like originally talked about, where we hit Banks Road to come off Arrival, Banks Lane?
Yep.
And then go to, starts with I can't even remember the name of the road.
Elmer Thrift was one of them, wasn't
Elmer Thrift, and then it goes into Slash Pine, I believe. or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And then,
Number 3 offense slash pine, gonna be.
Yep.
because it comes right off of Banks Road, Banks Lane. And to clarify, Amethrift does not own the road, Amethrift. He does not own the property, nowhere
Yeah.
around there. But, I'm just making sure that we got those.
Yep. I check on them weekly, all of them. They're probably gonna get tired of me calling them.
The dirt part of Turnus Road out in Jamestown, it's got some issues.
Bennett.
Major issues.
It's got some issues. We got light poles fixing our road in fall.
Yeah, there's a prescriptive easement on that one, and we talked about, I think me and the chairman talked about trying to do something with that road. It needs to be done the right way. The right of way is the issue, because it's very narrow in there.
So, but I know that fence is falling out into the road.
Uh-huh.
The cow pasture fence.
Yep, on the right-hand side.
They really don't even have no cows out there, so, you know.
Yeah, if we were to try to get right of way, that would be the place to get it. It's right there on that side, because
Yes.
all the other side's right up against the houses.
And it's a bad deal, cause you got a big hill and it's low over here, but, I'm afraid some of that stuff's fixing to.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also bring up again, don't want nobody to forget the bicentennial of Ware County. It'll be the 200th year. There's flyers everywhere. It's gonna be a big deal. It's Ware County turning 200 years old. And they would like they're gonna have us some chairs at every event for the commissioners and the county manager and even the councilors if they wanna be here. They'll have chairs for all of us. I'll hush now.
Okay, is that all? Mr. Chris, we want to thank you for coming and presenting.
See y'all next month.
Yes, sir.
All right, we thank you very much for that. We're looking forward to get the perimeter road started.
Business in.
Okay? Anything else?
No, I'll hush now.
Nope, we need to adjourn.
Okay, I hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved. Got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned.